Folks, transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information at emjmarketing.com. We mentioned the 10 NHL games tonight. The Winnipeg Jets are not playing. We're going to open there as we chat with Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, former color voice of the Winnipeg Jets, who are, hey, Lester, Happy New Year, my dog. How you doing?
Same to you, RP. Happy New Year. I hope the holidays were good to you.
Oh, yeah, they were amazing. And by the way, congratulations on all the fun, exciting news in your world, which we'll get to in a second. But the Jets, Jets number 2 overall in the National Hockey League, but right on the heels of the Vegas Golden Knights. How do you feel about the pursuit of Vegas, trying to catch Vegas and be number 1? And does it matter at this time of year right now?
No, it doesn't matter right now, although it's nice to see them there. Hopefully they can string more wins together and have higher highs and lower lows, because that ultimately is going to be the key as to whether or not they can finish first in the Western Conference and finish first in the Central Division. Getting to one of those spots, I think, is premium, obviously. I would have said back at the beginning of the season that having to finish first in the conference is paramount, but not necessarily so now. I mean, they've lost a few games at Canada Life Centre, and the NHL is such where home ice ultimately really doesn't matter as much as it does, say, in the NBA or even as it does possibly in the NFL. So I would say as long as the Jets can be one of the top 2 seeds going into the playoffs, I would say they're in good shape.
Well, last year when they flamed out in 5 to Colorado, you came on here and said something's missing, and a lot of people would agree. Would you agree that doesn't look like anything's missing now?
No, it doesn't seem to be. It looks like there's been a recommitment to by some of the star players to really wanting to go after it. I mean, the coaching change, Rick Bowness, having to step down, wanting to step down because of health issues, and yet I see him on Hockey Night in Canada every once in a while. So he's obviously doing okay, but. Scott Arniel has taken over, and it's been seamless because this is a case of an assistant coach very popular in the room taking over, and the guys having a lot of respect for him and buying into what he's selling as far as what he wants out of his team systems-wise and how he wants them to play and what kind of effort they play with. And guys like Scheifele and Connor especially taking it on and being good that way. Josh Morrissey, you know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get from Adam Lowry, and the rest of those guys fall into line behind them. The 2 key guys are Scheifele and Connor, and they have gone ahead and really stepped up this year and are having all-star caliber type seasons. And it's still a shame that Scheifele can't play Team Canada at the upcoming Four Nations Challenge.
Well, he can. He just wasn't picked to be.
Wait.
Is that something?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something you think will motivate him?
Absolutely, I think it will. I think it's been doing it to a large degree in the last little while. So, okay, if he's going to be spurned, being a chance to play for Team Canada, and it's going to motivate him, bring it on. Let's go.
You know, it's funny, by the way. Connor Bedard's not on that team either, and if you and I had a sports talk show, man, it would slap, it would bang, Les. You know that. So Bedard's not on it either. But I watched the game last night. Bedsy had a goal and an assist. Colorado lost in Chicago 3-1. It was a big Blackhawks upset. Moose DuPont, who I know that you're a big fan of, was saying that Bedard's not getting crammed down Canadian hockey fans' throats. I said he is here in the States, but I'm okay with it because I love him. What's your take on Bedard's career and the fact that he's not on the Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off along with Scheifele? What are your thoughts on Bedard?
Okay, on Bedard, I think maybe not being on the Four Nations Challenge roster for Team Canada this year is a good thing. I think it will motivate him to pick up his game. He was a tremendous rookie. Everybody goes through a little bit of a lull in their sophomore year, and he definitely went through it at the beginning of the season. Because of that, he didn't make Team Canada, according to the higher-ups with Hockey Canada and the people that are putting the team together. That should motivate him. And if he had a goal and an assist last night in a Blackhawks upset win over Colorado, that's pretty significant. If he's starting to round back into form, good for him. He should be a guy that should be looked at to be a part of the Canadian team for the Olympics coming up in 2026, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm with you. He probably will be on that team. That's 2 years away, so depending on how things go,
Yep.
or 1 year away. Yeah, 1 year away.
It's next year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, Game 7, Pats Blades 2 years ago. How worried were you that morning? How worried were you?
You know, again, it's one of those 50-50 things. I'm going to wake up the next morning and I'm still going to have to go to work at the Saskatoon Media Group. And that's ultimately my main source of employment. My check comes from the Saskatoon Media Group. So Blades win, Blades lose. Yeah, personally, emotionally, there's going to be a disappointment. But ultimately, I got to pick myself back up and go back to work and do something like have to worry about what the heck Justin Trudeau's doing a newscast the next day on the radio station. So it's not going to devastate me. It wasn't going to devastate me. I'm thrilled that the Blades found a way to beat the Pats that game and move on. But it ultimately isn't life and death for me, as it is for some team broadcasters who are employed by the team, because they really are invested to the largest degree. Myself, I'm invested a lot, but not to the point of what those guys are that work for the teams.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Les Lazaruk is not a homer. He just told you himself. How many games have you called? Les is the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. How many have you called, Les?
Oh, it's over 2,200.
Wow. Do you have, Ryan writes in, you know him, Ryan Marushak writes in, he's watching in Saskatoon. He says, Roddy, you will need a Les Lazaruk bobblehead to showcase when they're out at the end of the month. Do you have a Les Lazaruk bobblehead in your possession that you can show us?
I have one at home. I don't have it with me because I'm in a hotel room in Edmonton. I don't carry it around with me. I'm not that vain. Not yet, anyway. But it is at home. It's in the possession of my wife. My wife is looking after it.
Okay, Verna, don't lose that thing. Clark, if you, before the end of the show, what? No, what? Did we lose Les? You still there? Clark, before the end of the show, if you can find a photo online, because I've seen them. I've seen the bobbleheads. Tyler Warwick, your president of business, posted that and congratulating you on your 31st season with the team. Are you happy with the likeness of the bobblehead, Les? Because most guys are not.
I do actually like it. I think it's great. My wife thinks it's great. Verna thinks it's wonderful. My sisters, who were pretty critical, said it was cute. I've never thought of myself as cute, really. But if my sister thinks it's cute, I'm good with that.
All right, Blades fans, the Les Lazaruk bobblehead coming out at the end of the month. That's very exciting. We'll get a picture of it before we go off the air. Okay, the viewers we can't forget our junior hockey roots, our Western Hockey League love. Can you talk about the WHL trade deadline and the Blades part of that and moving forward?
Okay, the Blades part of it was, and again, a lot of people who are casual or outsiders can't believe what has been done by Colin Priestner, Steve Hildebrand, and Dan Tenser, the holy trinity of the Blades operations, as I like to call them. They've definitely made a big-time move. Goodness, my chair just dropped here in the hotel room. They came into this, they went in on pretty much every big name player over the last 6 or 7 seasons trying to get the championship. They really went all in last year with the Fraser Minton acquisition and Easton Armstrong and people like that. They really went hard at it. And they spent a lot of draft picks. That's the new world of the Western Hockey League. Ever since Manny Viveros traded everything as far as 15 and 16-year-old prospects to get the people he needed to win the WHL title in 2018. And then the league decided, you know what, we don't want our 15 and 16-year-olds traded, so let's keep them, and you can't trade anybody else, and you have to get 17s to agree to be traded, and then 18 through 25. And you want to trade draft picks, you go right ahead. The Blades traded draft picks in order to get the players necessary to take their run. They didn't quite get there. They lost out in the Eastern Conference Final the last 2 years. Now they come into this season, they look at their draft cupboard and they're going, whoa, 2025. as before the Christmas break it came into play. No pick until the 4th round. 2026, no pick until the 8th round. You can't sustain yourself. You can't be competitive by not having draft picks in the future. I mean, I lived through what happened after the Memorial Cup when they went all in back then to try and be a Memorial Cup champion while hosting it. 5 straight years of non-playoff hockey. It seems like a drop in the bucket now, but back at the time when you go through it day after day after day and you don't have a hope of making it into the playoffs, how do you keep your fan base engaged? How do you keep your players even engaged? So Paul and Priestner realized that, and the 3 guys said, we're going to get our guys back. We're going to get our draft picks back. We're going to get some young prospects back as well. And they had to trade away Brandon Lazaruk, a 42-goal guy last year who was on a heater coming into the Christmas break. They had to trade away Tanner Molendyk, the first-round pick of the Nashville Predators, who played for Team Canada at the World Juniors and is having a tremendous season and is arguably the best defenseman in the Western Hockey League. So they went ahead and they did that. They also traded Misha Volotovsky and Lucas Hansen, a couple of complementary type 19-year-old players. Those were big deals. They had to do those sorts. And then they traded Ben Reich, their leading scorer. They got him basically for nothing from Victoria back in the off season. Sorry, Von Waterroot, but you're not playing even in the Western Hockey League right now as a 20-year-old. So Waterroot's not playing in the league. Blades got Reich. He had 53 points and was, incredibly consistent. He only missed out on getting points in a game in 3 out of 38. So they traded him, and they got back 2 first-round draft picks in total, 3 second-round draft picks, a third, a fourth, a fifth in 2026. They pretty much restocked the cupboard. They feel good. They've got some young guys back. They're happy to get a Hunter Lang, a 6'6" behemoth of a guy from Prince George. They're happy to get Jack Ketchkowski, Hayden Harsani from Medicine Hat. Harsani, a 17-year-old center, was in on both of their goals last night in Edmonton. So they've got young guys. They've got prospects for the future. They're not going to suffer the long drought of not being in the playoffs by making the deals they did. And casual fans and outsiders have to understand that.
Well, you've just certainly told the message of the Saskatoon. I needed to pause because we're running out of time.
Yes.
A forensic look at what the Blades have done. No, you're good. You're passionate, which is why we love you. But the rest of the way, because the Blades won't be part of this, who do you see as, say, the Final 4?
Ooh, in the whole league?
Yeah.
If it's the whole league, I think you have to look at Everett. I think you have to look at Prince George. I think you have to look at, there's 3 teams in the Central Division. Lethbridge, Calgary, and Medicine Hat. I think Calgary is going to be there. I have a hard time picking between Lethbridge and Medicine Hat because people on both those franchises I love, and I think I have mad respect for a guy like Willie Desjardins in Medicine Hat, and I have mad respect for guys like Bill Peters and Peter Anholt in Lethbridge. So I would say those are the top 5 teams, the 3 in the Central Division, and then you've got the Everett team in Prince George out west.
All right, good stuff. And hey, lastly, there it is.
Yeah.
The Les Lazaruk bobblehead. So that's amazing, Les. Do you feel that it looks like you? It's kind of is pretty amazing likeness.
It is. Yeah, it's a good likeness. Yeah, it just shows how ugly I am.
Hey, hopefully, maybe they'll hand a few out at a Saskatoon Berries game as well. Does your mind wander to the WCBL at all? Mine does, be honest, does yours?
Yes, absolutely, because it's again, truth be told, and I love my hockey, don't get me wrong, but I was a much better right-handed baseball pitcher back in my youth than I was a hockey goaltender. So I really, really, really enjoy baseball. I've done baseball before, back in Winnipeg with the return of the Winnipeg Goldeyes, back in '94 with my good friend Peter Young, and then getting a chance to do it this past summer was just a hoot, and I'm looking forward to year 2 coming up. It's not that far away. May really isn't that far away.
I know I had so much fun as well, man. It's a great league, great people.
It is.
Just fun being at the ballpark. And you got your Carter back again. Carter Beck back for next year. Not like he wasn't going to come back, but I loved the pomp and circumstance of the announcement. So everything's good. Les, thanks for the time, and keep on keeping on, my man.
Any old time RP, you keep on keeping on. You're doing a heck of a job, and I love tuning in wherever I can.
Thank you, Lester. Appreciate you. Any old time. That's a good old George Strait song. But, yeah, I call Les the Elton John of hockey broadcasters. And when I do that, he always goes, but I'm serious, man. Every time I tune in, he said he's done 2,200 plus games. And every time I tune in, it's like it's first. It's like it's his first. And because he's so excited about it. And it's like when I saw Elton John play Crocodile Rock at the Brandt Center in Regina, probably played it 970,000 times. He stands up on the stool like it's the first time. I love it. He's an entertainer, both Elton and Les. We'll be right back with a sports update after this and viewer takeover the rest of the way. We're live on Game Plus Television, streaming live, and podcasts wherever the best podcasts are found.